know. And that's why I don't want to have boys, and that's why I don't want to have. I'm so happy not having boy children that I'm not, because this is what I see for men moving forward. You know, it was already happening in my generation to a certain extent. Some of us were able to pull it back, but with this other generation coming up, man, they're like bold, but they're soft at the same time, and then they're highly impressionable, but yet they're not scared to take chances. I don't know. It's such a weird dichotomy we live in with when I see with younger kids, specifically men. Uh, that I don't know. I just don't see with women. And like you've already mentioned, I believe modernity is feminine anyway. Uh,
Mm.
a lot of what is going to benefit humanity is going to be according to what benefit women. If that's going to be for better or for worse, I don't know, but that's definitely the direction it's going in. And I got two daughters, so you know, uh,
It's also tougher for a guy, I think.
it's tough. It's tough for a guy. It's tough, but I'm glad though. It's always been tough for a black man. So I mean, I'm not gonna, and that ain't no victim. You know, I'm just saying like you got to deal with shit coming from both ends, within and outside your community. You know what I mean? But so it, and I'm not saying that it ain't been tough for any other people, but I'm just saying that from my perspective, I was always raised that the moment you walk outside this door, the shit ain't gonna be easy. You gotta again, I don't agree with it, but that you got to work twice as hard. You're going to be, if you're in a fucked up position and it's you and somebody else who looks different than you, you're going to be, stuck with the blame and all this other type of stuff. And, so I kind of already, but now, like what's been happening to the Black American community is now happening on a global scale. So I really can't be mad because a lot of these things they used to fault black people for, like, oh, because you're black you act, this is what it's all because of who you guys are as a people inherently. And yeah, I believe people have certain inherent qualities, but a lot of the stuff they were sticking black Americans with weren't it. And now we see all these things happening globally to a lot of different communities being affected by the same shit that was going
Deron,
on. Yeah.
Deron, what happened to?
What happened to who? We can't hear you.
That's scary. Why are you,
You
there's two of you.
see, I know, but I'm using my phone now
Okay.
because I'm moving around,
You
and I
mean you're
was
falling
asking
asleep?
you, um, no, I'm actually up and I'm doing stuff now.
Oh,
Deron was saying something about the black community and it's happening to other communities. So what was it?
No, just the what you see happening. I want to say the father, everything that happened post 1960s, fatherlessness, employment,
Oh, right, right.
black males or males just not understanding or knowing or being just dispositioned from the normal role in the family structure and society. And a lot of these things were just specific to black Americans, or at least that's the way they tried to spin it. Oh, your women are running the household, they're doing better than you, the women are doing better than the men and stuff like that. And now the way I see it is happening to a lot of different communities. I hear, Pakistani men talking about their women doing better than them. I hear Somali men saying our women doing better than us. You know, you see the child born to single parent or at least unwed parent in Europe is equal to what is going on in the black community. Of course, maybe 10% shorter or 10% less in certain respects, but still up there. And then you also see the Mexican, the Latino community having high rates of single parent householdage, and where the white community is at in the United States is where the black Americans were at in the 70s, and they were saying it was pandemic level at 25%, and whites are at I think 30 or 35% or something like that in the United States. So all these things that have been happening to the black Americans that they thought ha ha ha, same thing like when Muslims thought COVID was some type of curse on non-Muslims, and then when it started to hit them It wasn't all that funny.
Mhm.
Same thing is happening with on a global scale. And that's why I see people like Sneeko blaming black culture and stuff. Like, don't blame black culture because they gave us the poison first to see if it worked. And it worked, and now they're trying to give it to all of y'all. So
Well,
don't.
it's as old as the hills. So this whole idea that you should marry before you have children, it's only in the last 50 years that the West has forgotten about it or think it doesn't matter. And now that the consequences have been uh, manifested themselves, they're sort of pretending it doesn't matter. But it
And
is
black culture is
hard.
Western culture, to let you to people to know. It's not. They didn't come from the shores of Africa. It was grown in America with many contributions from European
Yeah,
culture, other aspects that we inherited from what we seen from the people who was we were living under for whatever
yeah,
period of time.
swinging 60s, the pill, sex revolution. I mean, you could say, this is what Roman culture was when the Roman Empire was in decline.
Yeah, that the 60s was, they could I really would love to read something about the 60s, because I would. That was when the United States went to war with itself, or at least, countercultures. It definitely turned on a lot of its values in a way that I don't think has been able to recuperate from. And now a lot of the people who were of the 60s and 70s, taking all the drugs and the free love and the hippie movement and all this other type of stuff, they're the ones in power now. And you think that they kind of just dropped all these ideas? Like, probably not. I'm sure they developed
Yeah, the
into.
boomers.
Yeah, they're just boomers.
And the children, their children, kind of know what's happened. That they talk about things like, "You spent our inheritance,"
Yeah, the
and they
baby
make
boomers.
jokes like, "Pillow day" for these boomers who kind of refuse to accept any responsibility for making the world as it is now.
That, well, no, then we got to put the parent. We got to have to put the blame on my grandparents, generally, because they're the one who gave these boomers. They, well, it's hard. It's really, I don't know who to blame. It's
Yeah,
part.
but maybe it doesn't matter. It's just like, okay, we did wrong. We correct ourselves. It's obvious what should be done.
But
Family
everybody I
structure, as you
know,
were saying.
most of the people in my generation, their parents are doing better than, even if they're more educated, their parents are doing better than, even if they're making more money, their parents are doing better in life, did better
Yeah,
in life at their age than what they're doing right now.
yeah,
It's
and yeah. So it's not that hard to make the argument, is what I'm trying to say, and it's not that hard to understand what it requires to turn it back, to correct it.
it's gonna take like
I
300
mean, just the
years to turn it back.
arguments have to be made, right? I mean, you just said it. You just said it. So, why would anybody reject it other than, oh, we can't be bothered. Actually, I don't want to get married. Oh, I'm gay, or I don't want to admit that things are that bad. Maybe if we just ignore it, it'll all go away. But the kind of people who would say that don't have children, do they? And
Well,
then you can shame them for not having children and not caring.
which I think is
I
also
mean, really, these are quite easy arguments to make, except that somebody needs to make them in the mosque.
yeah, but I think the solution to them is like, how do you, can't.
Okay, you say it has to be done, and then you create the will because people will talk about it, won't they? Even if they don't think, there's a solution that's going to happen in their lifetime, they can talk about it. And all it requires, you don't even need to go on social media, you just talk to one person in your life who might be receptive and understand and won't go ape, and that other person talks to another person, and so on, the domino effect. It'll get to critical mass because, as you were saying, there are signs that things are beginning to change, the way the language is being used, certain ideas, and the success Okay, not success of Andrew Tate, but he's become totemic, and he's important because he's a convert. He's a convert, and he represents all these white and black men. That's
Yeah.
why he's so important. That's why Muslims are rallying behind him because of his importance in who he represents. Western man, white and black.
We also need like a George Lincoln Rockwell Muslim too. We need like Rob, like Islam for Europeans. If Rob kind of leaned more into that, but he's kind of, I don't want to say, I don't think Rob is soft, but I think he kind of is a bit hesitant. But I see him kind of, because I really do think like, the one things I did agree with him on is like, the hearts and minds of white
He,
Euro
he's
Americans.
he's the worst. I mean, okay, I've tried with Rob, but
No,
basically, he,
he
oh,
he's his own worst enemy, or at least the people he hangs around are
oh my
antithetic to what he's trying to establish. He's like the type of Islam he's trying to practice or interpret, or his interpretation of Islam just really isn't going to work with what he's trying to
He
do.
just makes Islam look. Okay, Islam for white people is going to Rob saying, please find us a safe space. A safe space for white converts in this brown environment. I mean, that's a takeaway point I get from Rob. I mean, nothing else. I don't get anything else because he can't talk about anything else because it would be, well, he won't talk about it,
Well, it's
So he just talks about, safe space. Okay, he doesn't use these words
from the
exactly, but it's
Morabitoon
that
and
sort of
Ian
thing.
Dallas.
And it just makes people look so weak.
Now, what'd you say, Gazal? Because I'm interested in hearing what you guys say about, because
Yeah, Islam for Europeans. It's just he's plagiarized all of this kind of worldview from Ian Dallas. Yet again, Morabitoon strikes again. This whole Malikian fiqh, and this is how we need to win the hearts and minds of Europeans, and this and that. It's very
Andrew Tate will do it.
much like Ian Dallas.
do you believe Andrew Tate will do it?
Yeah, because
Do what?
that
When
he's the masculine man that rocks the world just because he's jumping, they're throwing everything at him. I mean, it's good even if they imprison him. It's good if he wins. It almost doesn't matter. He's another kind of Trump because they're going to do the same thing to Trump. Even if they assassinate Trump, it's like it's like there's nothing they can do now without digging themselves further into it. And I don't know if you remember. Um, Tate when he was talking to Tucker, pretending that I would. He kept saying I would never kill myself, suggesting that they're out to assassinate him, but he's still going to be brave and he's still going to say what he's always said. That this hero narrative is irresistible. I would have thought,
no, I
and
think you're
he's the
right.
perfect person to do it.
And before hearing you say it that way, I was thinking that, Tate is in a lose-lose situation. But that's only because I was looking at it like, okay, if what he's saying is real, he's screwed. And if what if he's saying isn't real, he really just sold us a lie, uh, and built a fake persona. But the way you're saying it, in the eyes of his fans, and who knows, he can still convert many more people. No, if he dies, he goes to jail. If he's free, it's all a win-win
He's a
situation.
martyr,
It's
mm.
yes, he's a martyr either way, or he
and
beat
and
the
and
Matrix,
Suleiman Ahmed sees this. He
so
just
he could be
doesn't.
a
I mean,
genius.
he's really fighting his corner.
It is a huge power move, though. It's a risky one. I'm not gonna lie, but it's predicated on if this is all that's gonna come out about Tate, because eventually they're gonna numb us to all of this. If I gotta see it every damn day and all throughout the day, it's like eventually I'm not gonna care. Everybody else isn't gonna care, and so all he needs to do is kind of beat public opinion isn't there no more, so you just got to beat it in court. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, though. I'm not against Tate. I just don't like ass kissers, man. That's it. Like, and I don't think Tate or no real man is going to appreciate somebody kissing his ass, because you already know that type of stuff could usher you into your own destruction. If you don't have people who are really going to tell you what's real, or that you're fucking up, or anything like that, you know. So and that's all I see from these people like Tate, and like especially from the Muslims, not Ahmed Suleiman, I'm not throwing, but at least from people like, I'm not even gonna say Ali Dawa and Muhammad Hijab and them. I think Ali Dawa do try to correct some of these people in a gentle way. He don't try to go hard. I seen how he's correcting Sneeko and Myron off Fresh and Fit.
Well, at least they're doing something. They're not just rolling over. And, maybe that's enough to keep the ball rolling, by not submitting and carrying, continuing to fight, which is, more than, what the haters can do. I mean,
Yeah, of course,
who's
everybody's scared
flying
now.
from?
Everybody's on no dig against you, Curious, because I know you're doing your thing. But at least for a man, I think if you're gonna be on social media, you need to put a face behind the shit you talk and stand on it. I think social media has given men too many avenues to where they can say all the things that they couldn't say before, or they wouldn't say offline, but have given them a platform to just express these things without any kind of consequences. And I think that doesn't build any kind of real character in a man, because sometimes you do have like a burning itch to say something, and you're worried about how how people are going to see you and stuff like that. And the fact that you can just say it on social media without anybody knowing who you really are, forget about the fact that there's no consequences behind it if you're saying something outlandish. It's just the fact that it doesn't build anything in you, as like, what, I was scared to say such and such, express such and such an opinion. I didn't see there was any kind of consequences. I used my face, my name, all this other type of stuff. It builds more courage in you to where, next time if you feel the urge to say something that might be contentious or against all odds, you won't feel that same type of, reservation. So, I think at least for men, I can understand for women, social media being a hijab or having some type of hijab over social media. So I'm not going to fault women for that. But I do think for men, or a man trying to build anything about himself, I think it's imperative to use your name and your face if you're going to be on social media. But that's just my opinion, though. Some guys might disagree. But anyway, I think we're just rambling on. How you guys? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. What are you guys doing? Y'all don't have no